friend Sasuke Uchiha, aka Angel Cabal. I'm here to bring you my another deck that I use, which is my DDD deck profile. I love this deck because of its consistency. It's overpowering. It's a control deck. It is very, very good. I will attempt to show you some combos that I use if I can remember them. Um, I also I'm sorry, I tried to make this video earlier this day, but apparently my phone died on me. Yeah, I don't have a laptop to do this or anything, so sorry if everything comes out crappy. Just please try to bear with me. I will be making two parts of this list, one with links and one without links. This deck will be with links, so if you're kind enough, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and click the notification bell so you can know when I will be posting new videos on these lists. Let's get started, shall we? Okay, so for the I run a place for the first cards. I run a playset of Swirl Slime. Swirl Slime is essential. You need three of him. Absolutely run three. Any less, I find it a brick. If you while you're running three, you always want to run three because of the fact that you can easily use his effect fusion from your hand by sending him another DD or DDD monster from your hand to the graveyard to fusion summon. Also, you can also use summon a DD or DDD monster from your hand to the field. Really, really great. Really good. I would highly recommend running it at 3. If you want to try it at any other level, any other number, it's all up to you. It's completely your choice. It doesn't matter. Just run just do you. Shout out to my friend Ruben Gonzalez. Before we keep on moving, yes, I would love to give this shout out to Ruben Gonzalez for for inspiring us to actually make the GDDs. Like, just the fact that he made it and started using it, I know that doesn't really sound like a way to be inspiring people, but it inspired a lot of us, and it actually inspired me when I saw another friend use it. And when the structure deck Pendulum Domination came out, this deck just got a lot better, along with some of the support cards for the deck that came out in other packs. If you're looking for a quick way to get this deck up and running, you might want to buy three of the structure deck, which you only use two of the extra deck cards from there, which I'll get into later. And you might want to go for the Megatins. Right now, I do understand that we're currently waiting for Crystron Needle Fiber to help out with with link plays and also helping out with bringing out tuner monsters and bringing out a synchro monster that I will get into later on. Um, I also know that we're waiting on High King Genghis. I don't have Laplace, but when I get Destiny King Zero Laplace, I will be running him. But let's move on. Thank you, Ruben, for all that you've done for me, for the rest of the guys. We greatly appreciate it. But yeah, if it wasn't for you, man, I wouldn't have gotten to learn about the DDDs in the way that I do know them now. Shout out to Elijah though. Elijah and Martha, he was also another reason why I wanted to go into DDDs because I noticed how I got my ass handed to me multiple times. This was before the links came out. I feel this deck is still really, really good. Let's just continue on the quicks, and I'll get into more about the why I started running this deck later in the video near the end. Then I run three Necro Slime. I know a lot of people tend to run different engines in the deck, like Supreme King engine. I'm running a pure build. I run three Necro Slime for his Grave Effect. I sometimes use him for synchro plays, for level two and so forth. Synchro plays comes in real good handy, but not that much for that. I only use him for the fusion summoning. Uh, Moving on, I run three of the main tuner monster. You always want to run at three. You never want to have any less of this monster at any other level, at any other number in your deck. You always want to see three of her, mainly because she is the best monster to use for synchro summoning within this deck. I mean, the fact that she has a grave revival effect, where or you can special summon her from the hand or grave by sending one DD monster or DDD monster and one dark contract from your from your hand or field to the graveyard, which is extremely good. But sad point is she gets banished when she leaves the field. Which if you're running anything to recover her, if you say you use up all three and you have no other level one tuners and you need a level one tuner, which highly doubtful, but you might. This I'll show you a card that I use. Though some of my friends really advise against it. I use it to retrieve other cards. Next, I run three of the main boss monster, DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok. I love his monster effect. The fact that when he's no more special summon, you can special summon a DDD monster from your graveyard. Also, you can tribute one DD or DDD monster on your field and banish one monster your opponent controls, which helps with clearing boards, but that's only a once per turn effect. His pendulum effect, I don't really use. Sometimes, well, I don't see like a point where I need to. If the effect, oh sorry, it's kind of crappy and grainy. Um, the effect is if you special summon a DD or DDD monsters, except during the damage step, you can target one DD or DDD monster in your graveyard. Any battle damage your opponent takes becomes half for the rest of this turn. Also special summon that monster, and if you do take 1000 damage, you can only use this effect of DDD Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok once per turn. I find that really, really good because of the fact that it helps with more plays. Um, yeah, that's pretty much, yeah, it helps out with good plays. I don't really use him in the pendulum skill, but I am thinking about it at some point. Never really use him for anything else. Moving on, we want, sorry, we run three of the main search monster. This monster allows you to search out all of your dark contracts. Say you need to put say you need to use the second effect. His second effect, when normal or special summon, you can actually bounce one of your DD or DDD monsters back to your hand. Yeah, return it to your hand, which I find really, really good if you need to add Ragnarok back to your hand, then re-special summon and bring out another monster from your graveyard, um, while using Swirl Slime's effect to actually pop him to banish and then special Ragnarok. I don't really see a point in using him in the pendulum skill. His pendulum effect sucks, to my certain knowledge, because of the fact that you cannot pendulum summon any monsters except DD monsters. This effect cannot be negated. That doesn't really bother me because of the fact that this deck is supposed to run on mainly DDD monsters. I only run two monsters that are not DDDs or DDs that I will get into later. But the fact that you have to reduce its level by two, minimum of one, then destroy all monsters you control with a level greater or equal to that card's scale, except DD monsters. Yeah, I don't find that good. Like you have the a bunch of monsters that you need on the field. You have this one on the field. You have you have this one in the scale. Sorry, and then during the turn that during your next standby phase by this one's effect, you don't have a clean board. By that one's effect, you're going to lower its attack it's scaled down, and if you have a bunch of level 8 monsters on the field, that's gonna suck even more. Next, I run 3 DD Copernicus. Copernicus is your main monster that you always want to bring out. You always want to see him when trying to mill a card. I hardly ever use Foolish Burial, which I do run in the deck, but this monster helps add like a a Foolish Burial effect. It's kind of like a Foolish Burial and Foolish No Goods all in one, but the only thing is it only happens when he's normal or special summon uh, during that turn only. Not only that, but you can use him in the Pendulum Scale if need be to Pendulum Summon, but this deck list does not run on Pendulum Summoning, so you're hardly ever going to see anything in the Pendulum Scales except for the next monster. He helps out with great level 9 plays, single plays when you're actually bringing out a level 9 monster, which I do not run at the moment. When I start running it, I will let you know. Um, that's that one. Next, as I said earlier, the only one that you want to see in your pendulum scales is DD Savin Thomas. You only want to see one of him in your scales unless he gets popped. You want to have the next one in your scale. Only because of the fact that he allows you to bring back any DD or DDD monster from your face up in your extra deck back to your hand, which is really really good. I don't really use its monster effect, but its monster effect is pretty good too when trying to make rank 8 plays. The fact that you can target one DD card in your Pendulum Zone, destroy that card, and if you do, you can special summon one level 8 DDD monster from your deck in defense position, but for the rest of this turn, its effects, if any, are negated, and any battle damage your opponent takes becomes halved. Um, I really don't use that. I don't really use that as. I never really use that monster effect. Only when I'm desperate to make a rank 8 play for Kali Yuga. Other than that, you're never gonna. If you ever face me, you're never gonna see him on the field, like on the main monster zone. You're always gonna see him in the pendulum scale when I have him. I hardly ever search him on because I'm always trying to find a way to overcome my opponent without leaving any extra deck. I mean, pendulum monsters in the extra monster zone. Moving on, we have another tuner, a level 2 tuner. This one helps you big time with level 10 synchro plays. It helps you bring out all your high level synchro monsters. It will also help you if you're running monsters that are not DDD or DD monsters that are extremely high level and you can synchro with an 8 and so forth and so forth. Um, really really good monster. The fact that you can actually what's it called? The fact that you the fact that when this one hits the field, well, hits the graveyard, you can actually send one DD or DDD or Dark Contract card from your deck to the grave by targeting one of the same monster that you're sending to the grave. That may sound a little confusing. Let me try to. If you don't understand, I'm sorry. I am going to break it down a bit. So say you have a Swirl Slime in the graveyard. You need another Swirl Slime. You use this one's effect to act while he's in the graveyard to actually target that Swirl Slime that you have in your deck. Send it to the graveyard, and you can actually easily use the two Swirl Slimes, but yet Swirl Slime's second effect is only once per turn, as both of his effects. I run one DD Night Howl only when I don't have a level 8 monster on the field, and anything that helps me with the level 10. So say I have, hold on, let me do the math. I'm sorry. It's nearly the end of summer and I'm like falling behind on math and I've graduated, which actually sucks. Shout out to all those who are going to school again, including my brother Mark. So what's up, Mark? Monster on the field. You want to scroll summon for level 10. The fact that you can actually use Night Howl makes it all wild, and the fact that when this card is normal summon, you can target one DD monster or DDD monster in your graveyard. Special summon it. I do. Yeah, you special summon it, but its attack and defense becomes 0, and you take 1,000. That's not really gonna. The 1,000 part, it's not really gonna affect you if you're running the cards right. But at the same time, this one will also help you bring back your. Say you have um, one of your extra deck monsters in the graveyard, but you need that monster big time. Use this one's effect, special summon it either in attack or defense. It doesn't matter, but it has to be face up. Um, its effects are not negated, which actually helps, but its attack and defense becomes 0. Um, I know a lot of people don't run it. I run it at 1. People tend to go Orthros. I run, as you saw in my last video, if you were watching my last video, I run Orthros in a completely different deck, which I actually explained why. Um, Now, DD Vice Typhon. Okay, a lot of people do run this. I'm not sure if there's any specific reason, but this is kind of like a Necro Slime. So it's pretty much technically the same thing as Necro Slime, but at the same time, if you are running level 7 DDD monsters, this card will come in handy for you. This card will help you bring out your level 7s and also from your deck, and also help you um, bring out rank 7 plays, which is absolutely fantastic. Next, and last but not least on the monster, DDD related, but they are kaijus, only for fillers for Destiny King Laplace and Maxwell. I, I run 2 Radions only to tribute opponents' special summon same monster. I have them both in my hand now. While they're both in my hand, I can use them for synchro plays if I wanted to. You're gonna start wondering why. I will get to that when I get to the monster that I can use them for. Or I can just use them to ram into each other. No one takes damage. There's a lot of effective ways. Unless I actually, which I'm thinking about running a mind control in here, then I can actually use tribute. Say I have both in my hand, tribute my opponent's monster Radion from my hand to my field, then use mind control's effects, special some of the other Radion, then overlay for level 7, which will. We're gonna get into the spells now. Okay, yeah, it really pains me to see that Blackwing Gofu got banned. Um, it really pains me. I mean, he was such a good card. Now I'm trying to look for any monsters that are good token generators and that allow me to special summon without wasting my normal. So if you guys have any suggestions, please hook me up. Like please let me know down in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer. Continuing, you have to run this main search engine card at 3. You cannot run it at any other consistency. It's almost like what's it called? It's almost like running the Cyber Dragons in deck, but just Feather and the Erebus. That is the main point. You have to run 3. You cannot run it any other. The fact that you can actually activate effect level 8 and you actually tend to have and you have more have this card, then you have to send your entire hand to the graveyard. Um, well, I can't really say like card of demise, but like it's continuous, and it has that monsters from your hand or Hand or Field will help you out, and plus you can banish monsters from your graveyard to fusion as well. So say you don't have Necroslime or you don't have Necroslime or any Vice Typhon, this card will come in handy. Of course, with every deck that runs a level 1 monster, at least a playset of a level 1 monster, you always want to run this card. This card will allow you to discard a card, special summon a level 1 monster, unless you're using Where Art Thou. I don't recommend Where Art Thou. I recommend One for One. One for One is so easy to come across. There's no way you cannot get your hands on one. Um, yeah, just a really, really good card. I hardly ever draw into it, but when I do, it always helps me out in those times where I need to bring out Kepler without wasting my normal summon, which helps big time. You run Foolish Burial only to mill the. I run Foolish Burial only to mill the monsters that I need in the graveyard to use Ragnarok's effect to bring back. Other than that, I don't really use this card at all unless I'm trying to go for another thing to help out. Okay, now as I was saying earlier, I only use one card to actually help me retrieve the spell card to retrieve the face-up monster cards from my graveyard. No, sorry, from my banish zone, which this card, Pot of Duality, I run one. I want to run a play. I want to run a play set, see how it runs. I just need two more, as you obviously know. But the fact that you can actually target three banished monsters from any side of the field, you can target three of your one. The fact that it's another draw card helps out tremendously, and you recycle all the monsters that you have. Next, I run, and of course, this one is a substitute because of the fact that Blackwing Gofu was banned, rest in pieces. I run one Fires of Doomsday, mainly because of the token generation, so I can link summon a lot better. So it's during my opponent's turn. I have link the three for decode, which helps big when trying to bust out link monsters. That's all for the spells. Moving on to the traps, I run one Solemn Strike. Shout out to Ruben for helping me get my hands on a secret rare strike. I used to have the super rare. The super rare was really really bugging me. So me and Ruben decided to do a trade-off, rarity swap, which was extremely great. I love the secret rare. Um, the fact that you can actually negate a monster's special summon or a monster's effect by paying 1500. Very good, very great. Of course, this deck does rely on you paying your life points, but you actually have a monster in your extra deck that allows you to gain it back, which shouldn't really be a problem to bring her out. Yeah, I only run one Solemn Strike. Next, I run Pendulum Reborn. One Pendulum Reborn, only due to the fact that that I only the only reason why I run him or run it, sorry, is to bring out the extra deck Pendulum monsters that I actually need back that I can no longer synchro or Xyz for, and the fact that I need a high scale Pendulum monster to bring them out is the real catcher. But I mainly decided to run this to bring out the Xyz monster that cannot be Pendulum summoned back even if you use this effect. Well, no, sorry, if you try to pendulum him back after exeasing him. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble. Next, I run one Dark Contract with Witch. I know a lot of people tend to run more than one. I recommend one because you hardly ever need to pop your opponent's back row, but or monster zone. But when you do, this card will come in handy. Discard one card, target one card on the, I do believe on the field. Yes, target one DD or DDD monster or one dark contract. Discard those and pop one on the field. So say you need to pop your scales or you need to pop something else, this card will come in handy big time, without a doubt. Of course, every dark contract, or almost every dark contract, has that point where it says you pay 1,000 life points. There have been that make you pay 2,000. The last trap I run and the last card in the main deck is Dark Contract with errors. Mainly because every opponent that I've ever gone against always has at least one kind of trap card or another. Shout out to JP because he was pretty much the only one at the beginning of the time that I used this deck that made me utilize this utilize. I don't even know how to say that. I'm sorry. I'm getting horrible now. Um, that got me to utilize or however you say it, made me use this card often. The fact that you can actually, as long as you control a DD or DDD monster on the field, you're set. You can use this card to negate everything. Of course, it is a continuous trap, which helps out immensely when negating your opponent's traps. Moving on, we have the extra deck. Um, as I said before, if you do play Master Rule 3, I will do my best to make a Master Rule 3 version of this deck for you, um, and showcase it for you if you want. Um, Other than that, right now I'm just doing the link because I got used to Master Rule 4. The first Xyz monster, and in this case I only run two Xyz monsters. I run DDD Daldon King Caluga due to the fact that he negates everything on the field once he is summoned, and the fact that you can detach one Xyz material, wipe your opponent's board clean out of spells and traps. So say your opponent has anti-fragrance, um, yeah, anti-spell fragrance or whatever, however that card's called, I forgot already. Um, you can use this effect, detach one Xyz material, wipe it off the board, then you can set your scales, which will help out immensely if you're running a pendulum version of this deck. Other than that, this helps get rid of your opponent's scales if you want pendulum. Um, Really good card to combat everything. Also, the fact that you can detach another Xyz material, set a dark contract from your graveyard directly to your field, makes it all worthwhile. Next, I run DDD Super Doom King Dark Armageddon. This uh, Pendulum Reborn, mainly because of the fact that when you this card cannot be pendulum summoned, because you cannot pendulum summon it, and it is a rank 10, which really screws it over. You always, I he doesn't have any Xyz material to be dealt with. He is Xyz summoned, you can actually target one of your DD or DDD face-up pendulum monsters in your extra deck and attach it as Xyz material to this monster. Then you can detach one Xyz material, destroy many cards on your opponent's side of the field, equal to the number of pendulum monsters you control. Which, if you're going to use this one to wipe your opponent's board clean, you always want to have a lot of pendulum monsters on the field. Moving on, Formula Synchron. I People used to run this monster with another card to actually in the in Master Rule 3, everyone stopped once Links came out saying, "Oh man, that card sucks." But actually, I don't find it as a sucky thing. It's an extra draw. Not only that, but you can actually synchro summon during your opponent's turn, so you want to bring out a monster that will wipe out their board. Synchro with this card, you wipe their board clean during their main phase. Very, very good. And I believe this card will be bouncing back when Crystron Needle Fiber comes out, because a lot of people are going to want to get rid of Needle Fiber. When Needle Fiber comes out, a lot of people are going to want to destroy Needle Fiber, so this way your opponent cannot bring out any monsters into their main monster zones. But the fact that Needle Fiber allows you, once destroyed, you can special summon a level 2, I do believe, yeah, a level 2 Synchro monster to the field, and it's technically considered a Synchro summon, which will help bring this card out when you cannot Synchro him off the bat. I A lot of people are not. I don't believe anyone's going to be saying this card is garbage or this card is crap and don't be running it once Needle Fiber comes out. It's a really, really good ordeal. This card, however, DDD Gus King Alexander, the fact that Konami came up with like an upgraded version of him is badass. I love the new version of him. This monster comes out in the 2016. I do believe it was Kaiba's Megaton, which this card helps out big. You will not believe how big this card helps you out. The fact that if you're running a certain combo, if you do a certain combo, say you're playing in Master Rule 3, you run this card and play with a certain combo, you can easily hit off of a 4-card combo that I'll get into in the next time that I make a video on this deck. Helps really good when you're making rank 10 synchro plays or level 7 Xyz plays, which uh, rank 7 Xyz plays, sorry. Though I do not run any rank 7s in this deck, which I am thinking about doing so, in the fact that once a DD or DDD monster is normal special summoned to the field, by this one's effect, you can actually re-special summon a level 4 or lower DD or DD monster, sorry, not DDD. Those are always above level 4. The fact that this card will also allow you to bring back DD Ghost, even though DD Ghost has no revival effect, this card will help you bring it back out along with other cards that you will be running if you're running my build. This card, as I said before, um, you can. This card comes out in the look, um, this card comes out in Pendulum Domination. The fact that it allows you to negate your opponent's spell trap cards, I do believe once per turn. I think it was. Hold on. Yes, uh, the fact that you can the fact that you can actually negate a card effect until the next standby phase is absolutely great. He gets destroyed. You gain 1,000 life points for each dark control on the field, which helps out big time. Next, I run one Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. This one was a birthday present. I loved when my mom gave it to me for my birthday. This card is super powerful. I mean, it is legit. You can actually negate your opponent's effect, monster effect, destroy that monster, then that attack, which helps tremendously. Um, Also, if it battles a level 5 or higher monster, during damage calculation, this card also gains that monster's attack, which helps boost it up even more. Um, it's very good. It's you have you have one to negate your opponent's spells and traps, and one to negate your opponent's monster effects, which helps purely. Next, I run Crystal Needle Fiber, which is also the reason why I run Formula Synchron. The fact that I run Crystal Needle Fiber will be to cut my opponent off of all of their spells and traps. Like, you banish all of the spells and traps your opponent controls and in their graves. So they try to bring back, say you're going up against the Buster Bladers. Your opponent has a Buster Blader, no, a Buster Dragon, one of the equipped monsters in the back row. It's technically considered a spell or trap. You can use this effect, wipe it, banish it. Your opponent is left vulnerable. The fact that you can use this when you use it to synchro during your opponent's turn will wipe out all of his plays, and he will have to take countermeasures to get over this card unless he has a monster to destroy it, which you always want to have a monster with a higher attack. Also, the fact that seeming how you cannot be bringing back Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, you have Crystal Wing in the graveyard, he destroys, your opponent destroys Needle Fiber, effect you can target, bring back Crystal Wing, which helps out big time. Uh, yeah. Now, DDD Gus King, DDD High Gus King Alexander will help out big time, because of the fact that he is a 3,000 beat stick to 6,000. You have two other DDD monsters on the field, including him. He gains an extra 3,000. He also has the same effects, the rest of the effects exactly the same as DDD Gus King Alexander. When a monster is normal or special summon, you can target one DD or DDD monster in your graveyard special summon it, but there is no restriction on this one. You can special summon any level, not just a certain level, which helps big time. Now I love White Armageddon because DDD Super Doom King Bright Armageddon. You don't really use his pendulum effect. I'm not gonna go into his pendulum effect. You want to know his pendulum effect? Please do search it up. I'm only merely interested in his monster effect. The fact that every time your opponent would special summon, um, every time your opponent would special summon, he has to by this one's effect. He has to choose one of his own monsters to keep the effects. The rest are negated. For I do believe, yeah, I think that's it. They're just negated. I think it's only for that turn though. Um, Also, the other effect where all of the all of your other monsters cannot be targeted while he's on the field. So he's technically one of the monsters that helps you um, get past Soul Strike, all of these other cards, Catapulsory, the Kaijus. He helps against all of them. I run one DDD Flame King Genghis. I need to get a second one again. I gave a second one to a friend because I was running proxies at a certain time, but I stopped proxying um, because I didn't see it any good. The fact that this monster allows you to special summon another monster, a DD or DDD monster from the graveyard, when a monster is special summoned, will help you tremendously. And if this card is destroyed by battle or by an opponent's card effect, you can actually add from your graveyard to your hand, which is great when you're trying to retrieve some dark contracts. Going on to Oracle King Diark, or DDD Oracle King Diark, is the only monster that allows you to gain that life points back while she's on the field. The fact that she allows you to gain it and is so tremendous. You always want to have her on the field majority of the time, unless you actually run a variant of the deck where it OTKs your opponent during the turn that you draw, or or FTK. I don't even know how it's called anymore. I hear OTK, FTK. Um, it just confuses the hell out of me. But this card you always want to have, either as a staple or as a main monster in the extra deck. I always keep her as a main monster in the extra deck. Um, Moving on, I run DDD Dragonbane King Beowulf only because he helps out with 8 plays and because of his effect, the effect to um, that allows you to wipe the spell and trap zones completely clean. Plus, added to that, allows you to well, added to that, he allows all of your DDD. I do believe it's DD or DDD monsters do piercing battle damage if they attack your opponent's defense monster. Now the now DDD Wave Oblivion King Caesar Ragnarok is just an absolutely fantastic card. You always run him. There can never be a single deck where you do not run this card in the extra deck when running DDDs. Mainly because you have two Dark Contracts on the field. Your opponent has three monsters. One of them just happens to be the you attack your opponent's monster. The weakest one, effect, bounce a dark contract back to your hand by its other effect, destroy the monster, or any monster of your. Again, I don't hear the other link monsters, but that could do with what I got. I only use Fire of Doomsday to link summon Proxy Dragon normal. Say Kepler, use Kepler's effect, add a dark contract from my deck to my hand. Then link this one and Kepler to bring out Decode. Decode's uh, effect where he gains attack for each monster, 500 attack for each monster it points to, is absolutely great. And the fact that if when my opponent activates a card or effect that targets a card or cards I control by this card effect, it's a quick effect. I can actually tribute one monster this card points to negate the activation. If I do destroy that card, it helps out tremendously. Oh my god, you won't believe how much it helps out. Other than that, I'm just hoping and trying my best to get my hands on any other Link monsters. Well, there you have it, guys. That's my DDD deck list. Again, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. I would really, really appreciate it. Um, if you love this deck list, please smash check out my other list I uh, where I used my my version of the Abyss Actors. I will be bringing you new versions of all of my decks as time goes on, and I will be trying to make newer and better decks. Um, cat, watch out if you don't click the notification bell, do keep in mind every Monday, or at least I'll try every Monday to make a new deck profile for you guys. Um, Other than that, stay safe, and I'll catch you guys back here later.